This is Yo Nick. You mentioned something about how kids' upbringing might be impacted by the place they grow up in. Can you talk more about that? Love the stream.
Jesus Christ!
What do you mean the place they grew up in?
Thanks, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty general.
I don't know.
One, but,
That could be.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a tough
like,
one.
I think they mean literally like maybe the house or the neighbor. Or,
Oh, okay.
That is pretty general
Yeah.
question.
I don't know. So I grew up in a. You grew up around here, right?
Yeah. I haven't managed to leave yet.
So, and this has always been a historically, at its worst, it's a redneck town. At its best, it's an English countryside.
I grew up in Hope.
Which is an English countryside.
Yes.
You grew up in
from like 2 to 10 years old. I grew up in off of I don't know what it was a horseshoe or I don't know Eagle Drive.
Eagle Glen or whatever.
Yeah.
It's off of
Mail.
That's nice out there. You don't want to dox. You're doxing yourself now.
Well, this is my man.
That's true. I always give out my previous addresses.
That's where
I like the mishmash. I grew up in Woonsocket, in the east side of Woonsocket, which was like the rich part of a white trash town. It was towards Cumberland, which we called Scumberland. But it was I grew up in a ranch, a small ranch. I don't know, 1,200 square foot. But cul-de-sac. I think it was just a thing to do. Those neighborhoods still exist. If you're raising kids, I don't know, riding bikes with the kids in the neighborhood, that was that was the best.
It's good.
It's a good thing.
Man. We used to go hang out with the kids in the Platts and.
The Platts were where it was at.
I lived kind of I grew up near the high school, which is houses are all like 3-acre lots, but it's pretty close together, and our friends were right nearby. Like that's huge, man.
But we hung out with some hood. We had a 35-person BMX gang when we were like 10 to 16. It was like 35 heads, and we used to roll. But a lot of the kids who with the hangout houses were at the dudes who lived in the apartments, like single mom dude, like Kenny and Ricky's house. Like Ricky's mom ain't home, and we just go there like eat all his parents' food and shit.
BMX community was a weird. I was in that. That was
fun. But riding through the city was that was super fun. A lot of BMX for me growing up in 4-wheelers and. You were a motocross guy, right?
Not until like I graduated high school. I raced in the woods for a little bit.
Showing that. What's good, Kevin? Curious if you've rubbed shoulders with any good inspectors.
Like building inspectors?
Could be building or trades, and if so, what stood out about them?
Oh yeah, definitely rub shoulders with building officials. So in areas like this, if this is what he's asking, areas like this, building officials are tough to get. Like they're like a good building official. Like for whatever reason, I don't know why people don't want to do it, but you get a lot of part-time ones in small towns like this, and they're not what's called ICC certified. And ICC certified is International Code Council. That's basically who writes the code books. Okay. And they have tests that certify you to be a building official. There's a difference between a building inspector and building official. Okay. An inspector can work under a building official and do inspections. A building official calls all the shots, does all the plan review, and they're the governing force. In terms of code compliance. So to be a building official, you have to be ICC certified. A lot of towns can't, like this, don't have enough volume.
Yeah, you can't get those asses for the seats. They
and
don't want to do it.
You need to pay somebody over 100 G's to do that. And to get that certification is fairly difficult. You got to be a smart dude. So the higher paying towns get those guys. Narragansett, that building department is like awesome. They're a bunch of gentlemen down there. They're super educated. They know how to interpret the code. That's a big thing. Like some guys who aren't like educated in it and like are inexperienced, they don't know how to interpret it and how to apply it to certain things. So as a contractor, you got to kind of stay up on a lot of that stuff. So when somebody says, hey, you can't do that over here, that tie down's not legal. And it's like, actually, based on this code and this paperwork here, that is legal and it's above and beyond. You got to know that. Like I said, the better and more educated building official, those guys are on that stuff. They go to the seminars. They're re-educated every year. You know, they're
Yeah, it's a legit-
recertified all the time. Some of them are even engineers, you know?
Yeah, we used to see that as a pain in the ass. Now it's like a gem.
It's a gem.
Yeah,
because
right.
you know, a building code is the cheapest legal way you can build a house. Right? Why wouldn't you want to be better than that?
Right. Like
You
bare
know,
minimum.
that-
I know. Everybody wanted to gap. There was a time, you know, when we were doing you wanted to skip and everybody wanted, just do it for $3,000. Just do it for $2,000. Just give him $2,000.
Yeah.
Just, he'll make it work. And
It's like,
yeah.
we're building right now. You've got everything at the tips of your fingers. You have all the knowledge. You have all the materials. You got materials that they do anything.
Yeah.
You know, you can build energy efficient houses with like a little bit of friggin' extra work. You know, we can do it. We could build a house that requires no energy. It's, you know, net zero, passive houses, things like that. Like all that information is out there, and people like that's what we got to push.
Yeah.
So like building code is the simplest part of building. You know, it's just the code. It's to make it safe, basically.
Yeah.
You know,
Keep people from burning alive.
and
et cetera.
tripping and falling and, you know, like spans and loads and simple shit like that. Safety, you know, whatever, egress.
No, that's
They used to be haunt.
I don't know anything.
They used
about
to be
Yeah,
haunts. They used to
that-
call them like the pricks, and I'm like, why? I grew up with guys just calling them pricks, like all my gaffer flipper friends.
And like we're on the phone with building inspectors all the time. They're not the enemy. If you call them and say, "Hey, we want to do this right. This is what we're planning on doing. What do you think about this?" They'll work with you. Okay. You know, I've very rarely do you find one who's just a, you know.
Yeah.
And usually the ones who are not, they're not the educated ones.
That makes sense.
yeah.
They're the
but real-
grandfathered in ones.
Yeah.
I've been doing it this way for years.
that makes
Yeah, but yeah. Like now, it's always better to be like, overbuilding and over engineering. I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, you've got it open, and you know, I always say like the premium to do it right is always worth it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you're selling your house and you're trying to do the thing that we talk about, you'll get it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to get a fuck at your house. If you want to build a house, build a fuck house. If you want to
Right.
put ground kit and electric glow on your house, have at it.
You're living in the place.
Yeah, it's
you're
your-
living there.
For a long time, and it's your
Yeah.
one investment. And you'll get it back. You know,
You're breathing the air that comes through the walls and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You got to think about that stuff.